starts right now.
This is not your normal newscast. Welcome to the KSAT 12 News at 6. This is the Know My Neighborhood edition. We are coming to you live from Tacos El Rey on the west side in the heart of the Westwood Square neighborhood.
Our entire show will be broadcast from right here in Westwood Square. You can still expect the latest news and headlines, and yes, we have a live audience. We're going to bring you all of that, plus the qualities, the characteristics, the challenges, and the people of Westwood Square. It's a unique chance for us to highlight a key historic neighborhood in San Antonio, and this is the first of many in our Know My Neighborhood series.
Yeah, and don't worry, this is a pop-up newscast. We will still have Adam Caskey. We will still have Larry Ramirez with sports. But this is what we believe local news could and should be. We are giving local neighborhoods a voice. And what we found as we have ventured into this project is that no matter what part of San Antonio you call home, there is more that unites us than divides us. Take a look.
There's a lot of beautiful people out here that call this home.
Oh, I love it. Been here forever. I'll probably die here.
Our neighbors keep an eye on our houses, and they make sure that we're safe.
There's a lot of traffic and going all over the place.
The street remains very dangerous to cross.
Kind of a food desert, you know, that's the other thing.
There's really not a lot of grocery stores.
Break-ins, burglaries, a lot of gun violence too.
It's changing for the better.
There's a very strong family commitment within this community. The moment that you're involved with a player, you get introduced to their entire family.
Is one of the strengths of Westwood Square the people who live here?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Earlier in the show, we told you about why we are here, why we have taken this broadcast on the road for KSAT's new project called Know My Neighborhood, starting here in the city's west side with Westwood Square. It's the first of many to come, and some of the stories that we are highlighting are the people who live here, who is growing up here, and who is coming back.
Yeah, KSAT Sports' Mary Rominger actually went to Kennedy High School and talked to coaches and athletes, where the big focus there is on the future.
If you really want to get to know the neighborhood, you know, you got to get to know the people that grow up and live here.
Planted just south of Westwood Square is Edgewood Memorial Stadium, home to the John F. Kennedy Rockets. The high school was founded in 1963, coinciding with the assassination of President JFK. What has transpired since is best described as a community rich with culture, pride, and tradition.
Blue-collar neighborhood, you know, we're tough. We're tough individuals, or community-wise, you know. It's going to take a lot to knock us down.
Ben Benavides, a product of the Edgewood School District, now turned athletic director, has emphasized bringing in homegrown personnel who can provide the next generation of athletes tools to excel.
Gear and equipment is cool and everything, but it's more big than football, you know what I mean? More than life to it. So I'd rather get a good lesson from the coach for my future in my life.
In recent years, Kennedy has stepped up its recruiting efforts to help put its athletes on the map, and it's paying off. Last year, the Rockets had 8 student athletes, including 4 girls, go on to play at the college level. That alone is something Vanessa Nunez, who heads the Kennedy girls soccer team, says is both admirable and inspiring.
You don't really see a lot of girls have the commitment or want to go out of the community and play at the next level because maybe of the traditions that they may have or just the customs that they have as a family.
Knowing a lot of people who didn't really make it out really farther, so it's it is very important to me to go out there or be able to just to do anything or even graduate and go to college or university.
But the people of this community say that bringing those successes back into the West Side is what pushes the area forward.
Being new to San Antonio, I wear my Kennedy shirt everywhere I go, and everywhere I've been in San Antonio, I run into people who've graduated from Kennedy. And so you get the sense that the Kennedy High School itself has roots that branch out throughout the entire 210, and there is an immense sense of pride that everybody that graduated Kennedy they carry with them.
It's not a brand new neighborhood, and all the houses are all different.
I would describe it as a neighborhood that cares about itself.
We have a little bit of everything. Our houses don't look the same.
You have a little bit of business, you have the community center, you have small businesses, mom and pop shops, but it's a community that cares about itself.
As I said off the top, this is not your normal newscast. Welcome to the 6 o'clock news and our Know My Neighborhood segment here from Tacos El Rey.
Steve Spriester, Myra Arthur joining you here from the west side. This is the very first in many of our Know My Neighborhood newscasts.
Yeah, this is Taco El Rey, as I said, on Castroville Road in the heart of the Westwood Square neighborhood. This is one of those typical neighborhood joints, a place where people come and hang out. And we're going to talk to the people who know this area best, the people who live in Westwood Square and also work in this neighborhood.
And one of the best parts about this is that we have truly, through our coverage, gotten to know the people of this community. And by being here tonight at Tacos El Rey, got to give a shout out to two little buddies I met, Addison and Constantine. They are here behind us, second and third graders who are watching us, along with all the families, just kind of proving that family feel of this neighborhood. And we know that when we began this, we didn't really know a lot about Westwood Square. We have learned so much, and we started by asking questions like, what are the boundaries of Westwood Square? Who lives there? What makes it unique? What changes do they want to see here?
It is one of the city's oldest neighborhoods, but they're feeling forgotten. I had the pleasure of taking a tour of this neighborhood with two dynamic women. I call them the dynamic duo. Velma Pena is the president of the Westwood Square Neighborhood Association. Her friend Linda Bocanegra is the vice president. She actually owns a cafe called the Arizona Cafe. It's a political hotspot. They have a proclamation from the county on the wall. Well, how better than this dynamic duo to help paint a picture of what this community is all about? I want to show you this first. It is one of the most historic homes in Westwood Square. This was once a 20-acre farm until this happened. Highway 151 took up a bunch of that farmland, and it is actually the western boundary of Westwood Square. So let's take a deeper look. Let's take a tour of this neighborhood. Who better to give us a tour than my friends Velma and Linda? You want people to know about Westwood Square.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, let's go for a tour. When we talk about the sense of security for the neighborhood, what is the biggest public safety concern?
That people are afraid to call the police.
Here?
Yes.
Why?
Because they're afraid that they're going to find out who called them, and they're going to, whoever they're reporting, they're going to retaliate.
Yeah.
This is our little fire station, number 33.
This fire station is a sense of security for the neighborhood.
Yeah, they know us. They've told us that they love the community.
All right, so I wanted you to show me the good, the bad, and the frustrating.
Look across the street, see the big chunks of sidewalk, of cement. Can you imagine hitting the curb?
Right there you can see where the rubber hits the curb. As a matter of fact, we're going to move this interview off a little bit. All right, I feel a little bit better here.
Yes, but you see, this is how wide they should be.
Just as general in a neighborhood when it comes to improvements. Do you feel like as a neighborhood you guys are forgotten sometimes?
Oh, all the time. We love our community and we love the people.
We stayed here. I love the accessibility. It's not a brand new neighborhood, and all the houses are all different. I call it a capriotana. We have a little bit of everything. Our houses don't look the same. We live here, so our voices matter and what we would like to see in the neighborhood.
Stand by.
Westwood Square is tucked in between Highway 90 and Castroville Road. It's about 3 miles wide, but how we know it today isn't how it's always been.
Yeah, our Justin Negriato talked with two people who are very familiar with how history has evolved here.
Driving through Westwood Square, you can't see the roots that run generations deep in this community, or what some say is their DNA of social justice.
We've had to fight for everything, but it's how you fight. You know, you fight with knowledge, you fight with facts.
Manuel Garza should know he was part of the 1968 student walkout at Edgewood High School in the city's poor school district. But even before then, lifelong residents here had heard about the indignities suffered by their Mexican immigrant ancestors. It's why neighborhood historian Jesusita Rios says so many residents here were vocal and not afraid to speak up, because back then they needed to.
Era puro monte, so it was nothing but woods and of course the cornfields.
Flat land with fertile soil may have been ideal for the Belgian immigrant farmers who came here, but when it was subdivided for housing, it made for a lousy drainage. Castroville Road, where Las Palmas Mall is now, was notorious for vehicles flooding out.
That rain, if it rained heavily, would come all the way to your door.
The drainage on the west side was so bad, the neighborhood here was called El Barrio del Charco because of the mud puddles.
And for too many, this was home. Dilapidated housing built with anything people could find. It wasn't until the city began to slowly annex the area that they began to see some improvements. Until finally, in the mid-'80s, Manuel Garza says the people's patience had run out.
Let's get this thing done. And so we did.
Still, he says it took years. They say the long overdue drainage projects and other improvements came only after people demanded money already in the budget be spent on the west side. It's a history lesson that Jesusita Rios says today's young people shouldn't forget.
They need to know what it's taken to get to where we are, and they need to know the value of it.
Such a rich history, and you even think about the fact that Edgewood was actually named because this part of town used to be on the edge of the woods. This used to be the edge of town.
Something we learned, some of the many things that we learned about in this project. There's also something here neighbors talk about called little highways. They're concerned about speeding, about dangerous intersections that run right through this neighborhood.
Yeah, there are also a couple of ramps to nowhere that we're going to talk about. It is why they are asking the city of San Antonio to change the way people cross the street here, or give them more crossings. It's happening specifically at the corner of Castroville and Dahlgreen that we found especially dangerous.
Right outside this restaurant, there is the Pedro Romero Pedestrian Bridge that is no more. It used to be a way for pedestrians, for neighbors to walk across a very busy road, but it got knocked down by a dump truck a long time ago, and neighbors here, they want the city to do something to secure safety and give it a permanent fix. Avery Everett has that story.
To walk across Castroville Road at the corner of Dahlgreen Avenue takes a whole lot more than just crossing the street.
It's very busy, it's unchecked, there's no lights.
The road is known in this neighborhood as dangerous. Some even worry it could be deadly.
There's a lot of traffic and going all over the place.
But the city's solution, designed 5 decades ago, no longer stands. And the community is calling for something new.
We just heard a boom.
Andrew Arredondo and his family that run Tacos del Rey say what they saw on February 21st is hard to forget.
I immediately grabbed my camera and rushed outside and recorded the aftermath.
A dump truck crashed into the Pedro Romero Pedestrian Bridge after the driver failed to lower the truck's open box bed.
The top of the bridge was right here. So
across the street at the Madonna Center, Roger Caballero says his heart still races over what could have happened.
Thank God nobody was out here, because it would have been a huge tragedy to have something like that happen.
This bridge has served Westwood Square for 45 years, but now it's just a shell of what it was. The neighborhood association is calling on the city to come up with a more permanent solution. They first want the rest of this bridge to be removed, and then they want a ground level pedestrian crosswalk to be a new solution. The city came up with a short-term solution just a month after the crash. A temporary crossing with flashing lights, but community members say it's still not enough.
The drivers, right, don't really see it as a stoplight.
We wanted to test it for ourselves. After hitting the button, cars started to slow down with those flashing yellow lights. But even after those lights turned red, one car flew through just before we crossed. Caballero says it's a common sight.
It's been effective, but still dangerous, not as safe as a cross light itself will be.
So why then are neighbors signing a statement to the city calling for the bridge to be fully removed?
It was nostalgic. I understand the nostalgia for it, but it wasn't practical anymore.
The need for children to cross the street on their own is not there as it used to be.
They say it comes down to ADA accessibility and a different day-to-day use.
It wasn't in use for years. It was too steep. Elderly couldn't walk their kids up the bridge.
A landmark lost, but a lesson learned.
The street remains very dangerous to cross. There's no question about that.
The city sent me a statement confirming that it will start construction on that permanent crosswalk. Only problem is not set to start until 2024. Steve, Myra? You know, neighbors here in Westwood Square have told us that they often feel forgotten. And when it comes to the issue of crime, that's no exception there either.
Yeah, BCSO and SAPD did stop by to mingle with neighbors during National Night Out. But as our Daniela Ibarra heard from neighbors, friendly visits from law enforcement in this neighborhood seem to be few and far between.
A tight-knit community.
It's changing for the better.
Feeling unseen and overlooked on the west side.
Drugs, some violence here, break-ins, burglaries, a lot of gun violence too. I'm really not out late at night because of that situation.
It's not every day you see neighbors celebrating as one inside Westwood Square. This month, they did the city's annual SA Neighbors Together event. It's a night dedicated to strengthening relationships between local police, communities, and neighborhoods. SAPD officers, BCSO deputies, even Chief William McManus and Sheriff Javier Salazar showed up, but the people in Westwood Square say it's not consistent.
I would like to see more police presence, more visibility, more than I know we're short-handed and they have to go where they're needed. But, you know, just to see them around is for a good feeling.
We asked San Antonio police several times over the past month to talk about how they've worked to connect with people in Westwood Square. They told us they could not make time to talk with us. In September, the city's online crime map shows 2 reported aggravated assaults, 3 car thefts, and 9 thefts at homes. The neighborhood association's president says people are scared to report crime, so they rely on each other to stay safe.
They keep an eye and make sure nobody goes that's not supposed to be there.
And bonded them on things they have in common.
Oh, I love it. Been here forever. I'll probably die here.
They say what they're asking of law enforcement isn't much.
We just want to feel heard, too, and we are important if there's any other part of town.
You ready? Welcome back to Know My Neighborhood Westwood Square. With more than 40 HEBs across the city, how well do you know your local store? Here in Westwood Square, they shop at Las Palmas, and they have found it a little bit lacking. They report old infrastructure, even some old food that is still on the shelves. After doing some shopping and taking those concerns directly to HEB, our Avery Everett also found something more concerning than all that: food insecurity.
A lot under construction, now causing a new disruption to shoppers at the Las Palmas HEB. At the front of the grocery store on the corner off Castroville and General McMullen is a lot soon to be resurfaced. But neighbors of Westwood Square say what's going on outside is nothing compared to what's happening behind those doors.
When we buy something from the HEB. We want to make sure when we take it home and feed our families that they're not going to get sick from the food.
Reports of food past its best-by date, empty shelves, and old infrastructure.
Oh, yes. Yes, especially in the produce area.
We wanted to check on this for ourselves, and within a 15-minute trip, we were able to find more than $40 worth of food past its best by, use by, or sell by date. Now, some of these products, like the raw chicken and the vegetables, were only a couple of days past, but others, like these dairy products, well, they expired back in August. And we wanted to check several other HEB stores across the San Antonio area to see if this is a common issue, but none others had quite this volume.
I took these concerns to HEB, speaking directly with the Public Affairs Department via email. On 5 separate occasions during our correspondence, I asked them to comment on the food past its best if used by date. I never got a direct response to those concerns. Instead, a spokesperson with HEB sent us the following statement, highlighting HEB's efforts, saying they go beyond providing fresh and quality products. In that statement, they did confirm that the Las Palmas location is on the list for renovation and enhancement projects. But they couldn't tell me when, as there is no timeline. Still, this is something neighbors are holding on to, knowing it's their only grocery store in more than a mile trip.
There's really not a lot in the way of grocery stores.
In the meantime, nonprofits are focused on fighting the bigger issue in their own backyard, food insecurity. The Madonna Center partners with the San Antonio Food Bank to help distribute food to those in need.
The need is still here, the children are still here, families are still here, seniors are still here.
Through boxes and meals, leaders hope they're helping the community. But they say this isn't the end-all solution.
We're filling the gaps, right? But we don't have the food resources to solve that long term.
The food bank says barriers to food, like income and geography, are on the list as to why Westwood Square is often seen as food insecure.
Food is medicine, it's culture, it's tradition, it's love. And when a community doesn't have access to that, they feel alone, they feel forgotten.
With the Las Palmas location set to see more improvements soon, Westwood Square is left waiting.
HEB first sent me a statement back in September talking about some of those planned projects for the Las Palmas store. A spokesperson mentioned there would be new refrigerator cases, updated customer bathrooms, and even a sushi counter. But just last night, hours before this story aired, they asked to revise that statement, removing any of the specifics when it comes to this project. They say that's because there is no current timeline, and they're also worried about supply chain shortages. I was finally able to get HEB on the phone this morning to press them about a timeline and also ask about some of those foods past their best by date. They said for now, they're going to stick to that new statement. We'll be right back.
The crowd is still with us here at Tacos El Rey on the west side in Westwood Square. We got to say thank you to everybody who has been out here with us tonight, who has helped make all of these stories happen. And thank you for letting the rest of San Antonio get to know you. We will be right back. A huge thank you to everyone here at Tacos El Rey for having us, and thank you for watching Know My Neighborhood.
We've made great friends here at the Westwood Square, but we're not done. You want us to feature your neighborhood? Let us know.
Hello, everybody. Stefania Jimenez here. Thank you so much for watching KSAT's YouTube channel. Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.